Koshinyata Endo-enta, Koshinyata Endo-enta, Koshinyata Endo-enta, Koshinyata Endo-enta. So the evening will be peppered with songs. I've got a rough idea, but it has its own life. So yeah. This wasn't in the equation, but it's coming up now. Every act a ritual, every word a prayer, every step a pilgrimage, every place a shrine, every act a ritual, every word a prayer, every step a pilgrimage, every place a shrine. Why shouldn't it be so? And the interesting thing for me, I wrote that last year, and by singing it, it makes it more accessible and more possible, I find, personally. How did the rose ever open its heart and share with the world of its beauty? It felt the encouragement of light upon its being. Otherwise we remain too frightened. That's the killer of a punchline, isn't it? That's Hafiz. I'll be sharing more Hafiz because he's pretty much my favourite poet. So that's 700, 800 years old. Still rings as true as ever. How did the rose ever open its heart and share with the world of its beauty? It felt the encouragement of light upon its being. Otherwise, we remain too frightened. I just want to acknowledge the equinox. It's full moon tonight as well. I didn't realise that when this date was set, but it does feel auspicious. Equinox just literally a couple of days ago. We tipped over from the dark half of the year to the light half of the year. And there are people in this room who I celebrated that with a couple of days ago. And there's something special about marking it, about actually getting up in the middle of the night and heading off to the Somerset and pitching up with a few folk to have a beautiful ceremony. So I've got these two staffs, really for the equinox. Well, more than that, I was reminded, I don't know, any of you know the Old Man of Wilmington? Old Man of Wilmington? There's one, there's a nod, a couple of nods. The Old Man of Wilmington is a chalk figure cut in the Sussex Downs. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone? I might have this wrong, but yeah, this is the Sussex Downs. And it's pretty ancient. They don't know exactly how old, but it's the figure of, well, they say a man, but it's not. It could be either sex. It's not. It's asexual, to be honest. But they call it the Old Man of Wilmington, and it's got. I mean, I've got these two poles. If you imagine they're the same height, and it's like that. And people have speculated: is it some marking of the ways? Because there are certain. There were in history people who marked the paths and the straight lines through a system of poles. But I feel, my sense is, well, I'll relay a poem I wrote. It's very brief, but it says what I need to say about it. Old man of Wilmington with poles in either hand, for many generations you have puzzled all this land, but your answer is quite simple and plain for all to see. Walk the middle pathway and seek out harmony. Now that's my take on it, because for me, you know the symbol of the yin-yang in the East, I think this was potentially a Western equivalent, because it marks out balance. From one hand, from one pole to the other. Welcome in.
Thank you.
Big welcome. Find your place. And the equinox is about equal day and equal night, but there's this wonderful word, equanimity, Buddhists especially, but others. It's a place of calm, it's a place of balance, it's a place of mutual holding. And I think, in a sense, that symbol then points to this place, the centre. How else might that be illustrated? Well, here's one. Love says I'm everything. Wisdom says I'm nothing. Between those two, my path flows freely. I like that one. Wisdom says I'm nothing. Love says, well, it's the other way around. Yeah, wisdom says I'm nothing. Love says I'm everything. Between those two, my path and my life flows freely. There's probably plenty of examples, but that's one that comes to mind. Okay. We're not done with the poles. They will figure again, or one of them will, in relation to eldership, because why are we here? Why do you think you're here? Actually, yeah, a couple of practicals probably at this stage. There's a bowl at the door, by the door, for any donations, and they'll go. Half of the profits will go to Trinity Rooms to help run this place. That's because this is a beautiful community resource, and there's some great people involved with that. There's poems, CDs, and books there, all £10 each. So I'm getting this bit over now because I'll forget anyway at the end. Practicals, loos at the back. Toilets, anyone not familiar? I mean, somebody's come from London, so yeah. I know others have come from Somerset. Are you in Somerset? Yeah. Thank you. Great. Actually, it's an illustration of the way I live my life. For donations, I pose a riddle. What's it worth to you? What would you give yourself? And how much can you afford? And between, it's like triangulation. I brought a third pole in now. It's triangulation. Between those questions, you can find a place of comfort. I said about being free to go if you need to or want to. It's being filmed, so I'd request phones off and not recording or filming, please. Other than that, yeah, big thank you for coming. Big thank you for coming. Okay.
I'll just say,
yeah.
in the unlikely event that there's a fire,
yes,
the fire
please.
exit is there, and there's also one through there, and there's one there, there's steps, that one has steps going down, so just so you know.
Thank you, Josie. Try this one. To be truly radical, is to make hope possible rather than despair convincing. To be truly radical, to make hope possible rather than despair convincing. If ever we needed that, now is the time, because how much despair do we feel and see around us? And understandably so, but it doesn't have to be so, is my sense. Or at least there's a balance to be struck. I'm going to read, well, this was going to come later, but it's Hafiz again as it happens. But leave the familiar for a while. Let your senses and bodies stretch out like a welcomed season. Leave the familiar for a while. Let your senses and bodies stretch out like a welcomed season. Onto the meadows and shores and hills. Open up to the roof. Make a new watermark on your excitement and love. Like a blooming night flower, bestow your vital fragrance of happiness and giving upon our intimate assembly. Change rooms in your mind for a day. All the hemispheres in existence lie beside an equator in your heart. Greet yourself in your 1,000 other forms as you mount the hidden tide and travel back home. All the hemispheres in heaven are sitting around a fire, chatting, while stitching themselves together into the great circle inside of you. And we're in this beautiful circle. Let the circle be wide round the fireside, and we'll all make room for you. Let your heart feel no fear, for there's no strangers here, just friends that you never knew. Let the circle be wide round the fireside, and we'll all make room for you. Let your heart feel no fear, for there's no strangers here, just friends that you never knew. Just friends that you never knew. Just friends that you never knew. Yeah, I feel amongst friends, I can say that. So the whole, what is this about? What did I title it? 7 magic keys to life. Reflections from a place of elderhood. And the tongue-in-cheek version, with some truth in it, but a smile as well, is Musings, Murmurations, and Meanderings. You know what I'm going to say. Musings, Murmurations, and Meanderings of a mellifluous mad mystic concerning magnificence, mayhem, and magic. Now we'll see how that goes, but that gives us a better sense of how I work and where I'm coming from. And I'm going to be skipping stones. I've already skipped a few across the water. You know when we skip stones, and sometimes they bounce and you go, oh yeah, and other times they fall a bit flat. And sometimes you get one goes right to the other side and you go, wow. So I'm skipping stones, dropping these pebbles in the pond. Some will resonate. Some you might think, what the hell is he on about? And that's okay. Some I might think, what the hell am I on about? Okay. I did write an intention to inspire, infuse, enthuse, in brackets question mark bemuse, through sharing song, story, ritual, and dancing our communal prayer of life for the enhancement and unfoldment of health, wholeness, and spirit of our community, ourselves, and the worlds beyond. So that's I didn't ponder long on it, but that's what I put for an intent. And again, sort of glinting at the gleaming in the gloaming, hinting at the healing in the homing. So you can get a sense of how I work. Dancing the liminal line is also a way that I would express it. And you might think, what is he talking about? To share the frailty of my soul with all its flaws and foibles, to share the beauty of my heart with all its bells and baubles. I'd like to believe, this is written by someone else, but I've adopted it and I believe in it and I evoke it. I'd like to believe that when I die, I will have given myself away like an oak tree does each year, each spring, shedding its seed, and each autumn its acorns, without fear of loss, for it's not a loss. It's adding to future life. It's the tree's way of being, deeply rooted, and spilling out its treasures on the wind. And that's what the tree does, and the oak is my inspiration, anyone who knows me, and my path. And my own, I call it charm of making. Others might know it as, in a more formal setting, people call it a mission statement. I don't tend to dwell in that place, but I call it charm of making, to inspire as I expire. That's my intention for the rest of my life, and that's why I'm here. Actually, why am I here? I'll tell you why I'm here. A number of reasons, but one is that there's a group of elders meets anyway. I think there's two groups actually. Anyway, there's more than one group, and I was invited to be part of that. But my life has taken me right out in the world, here, there, and everywhere. And I said, well, I can't really commit to that, but I'll tell you what, I'll do this. I'll offer something up. And it's only my thoughts on this. I mean, I'm not any better placed than many of you. There are people here wiser than me, I believe, for a start. But the point is, if I don't step up, if each of us doesn't step up, who can inspire the youngsters? That's one particular sort of facet of my life is, seeing how much young teenage boys need, and others need, some sort of models of eldership. So let's give it to them in some way as best we can. Flawed, but so what? Better than nothing. So, and what right have I to stand up here spouting and dressed like this? Who's he to step up here dressed in this finery? Well, who am I not to, in one sense? Here's that. Actually, this is the poles again. Be bold enough to be small enough to let the world be awesome, and it will. Be bold enough to be small enough to let the world be awesome, and it will. Can you see the pole in that? The poles, the contrasting paradox. It's a paradox, isn't it? But one without the other doesn't work. It's like prayerfulness and playfulness, reverence and mirth. Each day in the living of it has to be a conscious creation, whereby discipline and order is balanced with playful and pure foolish elements to it. You get that? I suppose, yeah. Reverence and mirth. Okay. This is a quote. I can't find the card, and I'll do it best as I can from memory. Ursula Le Guin, she wrote Wizard of Earthsea. One or two of you, yeah, nods. Wizard of Earthsea. I think Harry Potter. Who wrote Harry Potter? J.K. Rowling. Thank you. I think she was inspired and actually pinched quite a few of the ideas from those older books. Ursula Le Guin. And in the story, there's a young trainee wizard, Jed, I think his name was, 15 or so, and he goes off. Yeah, initiation really, but he goes off to be trained in wizardry, and they take him towards the end of his training to this far-flung island where there are 5 old, decrepit wizards, you know, towards the end of their life. And he goes and visits each, and they impart some wisdom or some thought or some gift. And the last one, the most far-flung, the most decrepit, I think, he gets to him, and the guy, the old wizard. I mean, this is said in the masculine, but this can apply just as much in the feminine. So the words he said, when I was a boy, I thought the whole point of training and being a magician, of being a mage, was so that I could do anything. Surely that's the whole point of training to be a magician. You can do anything. He said, I thought that, you think that, we all think that. But the truth is, the older I've become, the more a man comes into his power and the more knowledge he accrues, the more the path narrows, until in the end he has no choice except to do that which must be done. There's a lot of wisdom in that for me. Kind of, in a sense, learning a vast array of stuff, but it narrows the path to, what does it narrow the path to? This, in the moment. Behind me, polls again. Yeah, actually, I'm going to hold them. Maybe like this. No, you'll see why. Behind me, my ancestry. Before me, my destiny. Within me, integrity to guide my way on, to bring me back home. Behind me, my ancestry. Before me, my destiny. Within me, integrity to guide my way on, to bring me back home. Funny thing, isn't it, integrity? It's kind of invisible, but most of us, I don't think everyone has it, but most, unless psychopaths and sociopaths, I'm not sure, but most of us know there's a little voice, or you can classify it in different ways, but there's something guiding us, pulling us back home. I know when I'm out of sync. I know when the winds of life or my own laziness or whatever has pulled me off course. I think we all do in some way. Isn't that magic, really? Isn't it a wonderful thing to have that imbued within us? Integrity. Although I met someone once, senior member of a religious order, which is kind of scary actually when I think about it, who said she'd never been out of integrity. And I said to her, how would you ever know you were in integrity if you've never been out of integrity? The point being, for me, I think it's a gift to have that steering course, that compass. I call it the compass of compassion, because compass has got compassion has got compass in it. The compass of compassion. For me, I love words, as you probably gather, but compass of compassion. So yeah, that's one of the good guides for coming back into integrity. Right. If you know the song, please join in. Actually, we're going to have a minute's silence. Just because I meant to do this earlier. I meant to start with the silence, but let's just enjoy the silence and being in each other's company and just whatever comes up, but dwelling in silence. I'll sound the bowl at the end. interesting that a minute seems longer in that sort of context. And in other contexts in our lives, a minute can go like that. And in other contexts, a minute can last a long time. I'm reminded, in 1994, I spent 3 days and 3 nights inside it. I mean, this was a strange period of my life. 3 days and 3 nights inside a yew tree, without food and without water. It wasn't preconceived, that's where I ended up. I didn't know about Vision Quest in those days. But those 3 days and 3 nights without food and without water seemed to last forever. I mean, I look back and time, you know those stories of fairies going into the realm of, they come back and everyone's much older or something like that. It felt like extended time. It felt like, not quite eternity, but it felt a very, very long time.
Okay.
The courage of your heart and the knowing of your truth together birth the beauty of your being. I don't know who wrote that, but I've got it somewhere. I've got this book of Shinings, I call it. It's full of songs and snippets like this. It serves me well. The courage of your heart and the knowing of your truth together birth the beauty of your being. You're probably thinking, when the hell is he going to get to these 7 keys? Wander on. I like this one by Danny Deardorff. Try and find a wild way of telling the truth that is indigenous to yourself. Try and find a wild way of telling the truth that is indigenous to yourself. What does that mean? I mean, indigenous is a beautiful word. It's within, indigenous, digenere, generated from within. I mean, indigenous, we talk about it in relation to indigenous culture. Well, wherever I am, wherever we are, is indigenous because it's from this land. That's the way I like to work and to sing. That's why I sing in what I like to think is a Western form of devotion singing, indigenous. But I'll say that again. Try and find a wild way of telling the truth that is indigenous to yourself. We don't do wild so well in our culture, do we? I am going to get to the story of the 7 keys. It is 7, but there's 5. It's 5 within, so you'll see. There's probably people, it's quite likely and quite healthy, again the polls, people here who are agnostic, atheist, non-spiritual. Good, because that's part of the beauty of a circle. All bases, including, it's nice to have that variety. But I like this from Einstein said, what separates me from most so-called atheists, because he was one, what separates me from what most so-called atheists is a feeling of utter humility toward the unattainable secrets of the harmony of the cosmos. I'll read it once more. What separates me from most so-called atheists is a feeling of utter humility toward the unattainable secrets of the harmony of the cosmos. Yeah, key word in there, humility. And that's a really good, that's another, for me at least, and I know for others, a guiding sort of unseen voice or some, it's a way of being, isn't it, humility? But here's the thing, let's just take a little journey around humility, because it is so key, I think. It's back to be bold enough to be small enough, it's that part, to let the world be awesome, and it will. Because I love words and poetry, and there are others here I know who love words and poetry, and play with words. I've played with the syllable hum over the years. One or two of you will have heard me speak on this when we were in the singing, in the roundhouse together singing. I mean, hum itself. Could we all hum, please? Actually, it's beautiful. It's like being in a hive of bees, which is lovely in itself. But there's a number of things with humming. I mean, I don't know about you, but it takes me, I become more present, embodied and grounded. So that hum takes me more to the earth. And that's the feature of the word hum, as we'll get through. But humming also, as many of you will know, is they've done research that it stimulates the vagus nerve. It's very healthy. It creates more nitric oxide is produced. It's really a great health benefit in humming. Huge health benefit in humming and in singing. Massive. Okay, so that's hum. Then we've got humus in terms of the earth. We talk about composting and earthing again, humus. We talk about being, I'll come to that. We talk about being humiliated. Humiliation takes us right down here, doesn't it? If I'm humiliated, it's pretty down low. Humour, that's another one. If I laugh, if we laugh, well, let's see what happens. Can I invite you to look around, look to each other, and to just laugh at, laugh at. Can we have a little laugh? I always laugh when I look at you anyway. Yeah, there you go. Kids laugh a lot more than adults generally, so say, although I think it gets knocked out of some. But how healthy is it? I feel a lot better for that. And that was only just a couple of 3 seconds. But it's another one. I also feel it brings me into my body and it earths me. Humour. Earths me. I'm probably missing. You get the idea, but here's the one, the kind of the kicker, the kind of human being, earthlings. We are of the earth, human of the earth. I mean, there's different ways of interpreting that. There was a figure in history anyway, but that's another story. Human beings of the earth. We are of the earth, and humility, I suggest, brings us back into our humble, human, simple self. And it's a good place to be, but it's easy to not be there as well, to get carried away or whatever. Anyway, I love that little journey through hum. We get closer to the story of the 7. Have I got there yet? We have a song for that. Again, if you know it, please join in. But teach me how to listen. Teach me how to be. Teach me how to walk upon the earth. Oh, my heart is here. Oh, my heart is here. Oh, my heart is here to heal. Teach me how to listen. Teach me how to be. Teach realised as I started that song, that wasn't the one I intended to play at that point, so you'll get the other one shortly, because it is relevant to what I was talking about, as you'll see. Right, we're done with all those. Second. It's like some quiz game, isn't it? And the winner is. Right. So, one of the main reasons I'm here, this is the story of how I came by, I came across a South African elder and compared notes. And this amazing synchronicity, which, you know, when they shout out. I mean, I didn't know him, but came across his teaching and realised that it was completely, or very largely, not entirely, that's why it's 5 and not 7, as you'll see. It very largely matched and met the sort of what I would call the elder teachings of the path I know, which is Druidry. But there are other, you can call it doesn't matter what in the name, it's about being true. Anyway, the tradition, the ancient, it wasn't just him, it was his tradition. He came up with 5 magic keys to life. I thought, wow, I know those. You know, work with those. Those are the ones. Except I had 7, as you'll see. But so let's look at the 5 first. The 5 that matched. Which it's always wow. It was a real moment of there's something in this. If across the continents, the same qualities are coming up. Can I invite you just in silence, just in your own time, just think of 3. What would your 3 magic keys to life be? There's no right or wrong here, by the way. You can't get this wrong. But just think, what are your top 3 magic keys to life?
Ways of being in the key thing. Oh, I see.
Magic keys.
Magic.
So we'll all have our own. But like I say, you can't get it wrong in a way. But I'm curious. Anyone want to share 1 or 2? Any keys? Any magic keys to life?
Yeah, I'll share one, JJ, if you'd like one. Perhaps it's just where I'm at the moment, but just what came to my heart was just go gentle. Go
Okay,
gentle
all right.
on
Okay.
ourselves, on what's around us, on
Okay.
our all.
Thank you.
We both said love.
Love. Good one.
Integration.
Integration.
Connection.
Connection.
Gratitude.
Gratitude.
Kindness.
Kindness.
Simplicity.
Simplicity.
Humour.
Humour.
Honesty.
Honesty.
Grief. Joy.
Grief. Joy.
Courage.
Joy. Courage.
Contentment.
Contentment.
Creativity.
Creativity.
Authenticity.
Curiosity.
Compassion.
Compassion.
Authenticity.
Authenticity.
Movement.
Movement.
Dance.
Dance. What? Service.
Honouring the ancestors.
Honouring the ancestors.
Community.
Community.
Dedication.
Dedication.
Connection.
Connection.
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
Freedom.
Freedom.
Magic.
Magic.
Adventure.
Adventure.
Peace.
Peace. Okay.
Devotion.
Devotion.
Self-knowledge.
Self-knowledge.
Contentment.
Content.
Compassion.
Compassion. Okay, let's just sit with those for a minute. Let's just sit with that wonderful magical mix. I call that a spell. I think we weave a spell. Anyway, let's just sit with that for just a few seconds. thank you, because you saying each of those is a gift. I hear it. Oh yes, yes, yes. Like I know them all, but I forget them all. It's nice to be reminded. It's lovely, and we weave this magic cauldron of qualities, and they're all valid. I love them all. But if I told you there's only one word amongst all those matches one of the 5, would that surprise you? In fact, there's only one word amongst all of those matches any of the 7. Just thinking about it. Okay. So the first one is song. This here and in the tradition in South Africa, song. I believe I belong to the earth. I belong. May my life be a song. May my song feed the earth. I believe I belong to the earth. I belong. May my life be a song. May my song feed the earth once more. I believe I belong to the earth. I belong. May my life be a song. May my song feed the earth. There's something beautiful for me in dwelling in the song after it's been sung and what follows. As those who sing with me know, I like that. Enchanting the Void. Start off. Enchanting the Void. Sending the ripples of song out into the universe. Which is what happens, I believe. So those of you who come to Songlines of Avalon, part of my intention and belief is that singing together rejuvenates, reinvigorates and re-consecrates the sacred lines of song in our land, which I believe are there, were there certainly, but have drifted into atrophy through neglect. Personal view, you can be welcome to your own, but when the Aboriginal people of the Southern Hemisphere sing their song lines, they're re-energizing, re-sacredizing their land. I think we did it once, way back. My sense is if they're Aboriginal people, we are Aboriginal people, because of the tree people. Aboriginal, playing with words, that's my thing. When I was a teenager, it does relate actually. Yeah, I loved this saying, and it's been with me all my life. Follow a rainbow trail. Follow a trail of song. And all about you will be beauty. There is a path out of every dark mist over a rainbow trail. I think it's a Navajo saying, but I mean, follow a rainbow trail, follow a trail of song. The other one that I wrote and remembered throughout my life, and feels like it has come to pass, but it's a good reminder that there is a fire within my breast which burns both night and day. How to give flight to purest love upon such feet of clay. We probably all know that in a way. So I said, actually, I'm veering off. I'll come back to song. Just hold it there. We're with song, but I'm going off at a slight tangent, a little diversionary tributary. So through these things that I said in my childhood and my youth, I come to see from a place of oldership, being older, or eldership if you like, but from a place of deep reflection, I can see how they helped influence and create that truth, that by having them cognizant, and as I now see it, having cast the spell, in a way, named it and called it in, it comes to pass. More recently, a couple of you here will know this, is through the Mankind Project 15 years ago. In that process we come up with what they call a mission statement. It's American, which I've come to call something else, but the same thing. So mine was, I create a world of authenticity, courage, laughter, love and song, by daring to fully open my heart and by taking the risk of fully revealing my soul. The interesting thing again, as I look back, calling that in, it wasn't as present then as it has become. That's probably enough, yeah. So this is where I'm going to invite you to be part of this now. Anal nathrach, uthvas bethud, dochiel di enve. Anal nathrach, uthvas bethud, dochiel di enve. Anal nathrach, uthvas bethud, dochiel di enve. Anyone know that one? Yeah? It's Elvish. Yeah? It's from Tolkien. So it's a bit of play, I'm playing, but play's important too. Tolkien, who I share a birthday with, not a year, but the day. And he did teach at my school, not when I was there before. It translates as breath of dragon, of life and of death, charm of making. And I've taken that charm of making out into the world to invite and encourage everyone to invoke your own charm of making. Some of you will have it, I guess, I'm sure. Others may not. Or what is it, just silently, I'm not asking you to, in this moment, to voice it, but what's your charm of making? What are you calling in? What's your charm? What do you want to be or do or call in? The magic. Because it works, in my experience. I dare to suggest. At least that's my sense. It's maybe one to take away. Maybe you have it already. Oh, I was on song, wasn't I? And I went off on one. The heart is a 1,000-stringed instrument which can only be tuned through love. The heart is a 1,000-stringed instrument which can only be tuned through love. Someone said love. Yeah, that's one of them. All of those qualities are great. Each breath is a love note to yourself. Each breath is a love note to myself. Constant, yeah. Each day a symphony. If you think about it. Let's just enjoy breath. Beautiful, isn't it? Share another one. Because I work in threes, a third one. How beautiful is that? Each breath a love note to myself. There's a whole evening in itself around song, but we're all vibration. We are vibrations. We are. When I sing, when we sing, we come into tune, to resonance, into harmony, and particularly when we do it together. Not only can it be very beautiful and healing, but it's it's a wonder. Actually, I'm reminded in the moment of a song that speaks to that. It's an old Gaelic song, chant from the Western Isles. My dad was from Scotland, and I feel that connection with him, although he wasn't from the Western Isles. The words are simple, and some of you know it. I'd like to sing it together. Koshinyata and Doenta. Koshinyata and Doenta. So that's the words. I'd invite you to listen through a couple of times, because it's easy to get the second phrase, the notes wrong. But I'll tell you what it means, because here's the point. This is ancient wisdom. That song, that chant goes back potentially thousands of years. It certainly goes back many hundreds. I believe it goes back in sort of folk memory in the Western Isles, and it's Gaelic. Anyway, it means, as we unite, so the worlds unite. As we unite, so the worlds unite. Notice worlds, for one. But they kind of got it, and they sat. It was through the singing they united, and it does something else. It ripples out. It's a gift to the universe, gift to our communities, gift to ourselves. Koshin yata endo enta 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 koshin yata endo enta. Ideally, I'd like to sing that together for 10 minutes, because something else happens, but you get a taste of it. There's a sense of peace for me, and a sense of community. As we unite, so the worlds unite. We're giving a gift out to the universe and to the land. Gosh, there's so many things I could say, but I'm not going to, because time. Second one, second key, magic key. Notice I'm saying 7 magic keys, not the 7. It's just my, because it could be any of the ones, all of those as well, any 7 of those. But the second one, this is the one that was said. Someone said this one over here. Dance.
Yeah.
Dance is the second one. Amazing, isn't it? Dance, how magic key to life. I think this is true. That dancing is such, it's like song in one way, but it's a physical expression. And isn't it lovely to dance? Don't you think? When did you last dance? I haven't danced enough.
Morning.
This morning. Hey! Can anyone beat that?
Just came.
That's why you said it.
Delicious some beer.
Great. So you were in touch with that spirit, weren't you? That came through you. Yeah, dance is a wonderful gift. I'm not going to ask you to dance right now. I thought about it. No, I could do a song where there's movement, but I'll save that for another day. Some of you will be relieved to hear. But here's a few. Liberating, freeing, healing, therapeutic, expressive, joyous, sad, grief, release. I know that when I dance, it brings me alive. I know it's good for my body, but it's good for my soul. It's good for connection. It's good to be whole. We dance for laughter. We dance for tears. We dance for madness. We dance for fears. We dance for hopes. We dance for screams. We are the dancers. We dance for dreams. But I mentioned, yeah, it's easy to connect with the joyous side of dance, but if I'm in a grief-stricken place, it's a great healer. Grief. Well, I've amended this saying, who was this? Denise Levertov. I've amended this. To dance of sorrow, to dance with sorrow, this is my interpretation. She didn't say that, she said to speak. To dance with sorrow, works upon it, moves it from its crowded place, barring the way to and from the soul's hall. I'll say it again. To dance with sorrow, works upon it, moves it from its crowded place, barring the way to and from the soul's hall. Unwinged and naked, sorrow surrenders its crown to a throne called grace. Unwinged and naked, sorrow surrenders its crown to a throne called grace. I think dance can help. Other things can, song and many others. Here's one I came across. This C. Lauka, I don't know who that is. Courage untangles us from the twisted sheets of slumber, allowing us to swirl on the dance floor of life. Courage untangles us from the twisted sheets of slumber, allowing us to swirl on the dance floor of life. I've veered into courage and away from dance, but a temporary diversion, but I'm reminded by that saying, by reading that. It takes so much to be a human being. It takes so much to be a human being that there are very few who have the love and courage to pay the price. One has to abandon altogether the search for security and reach out to the risk of living with both arms. One has to embrace life like a lover. I love that statement. It's by a guy called Morris West. I'll say it once more. It takes so much to be a human being that there are very few who have the love and the courage to pay the price. One has to abandon altogether the search for security and reach out to the risk of living with both arms. One has to embrace life like a lover. Morris West, a Catholic theologian. All credit to the man. Yes, unexpected perhaps. Nietzsche. And those who were seen dancing were considered insane by those who could not hear the music. Those who were seen dancing were considered insane by those who could not hear the music. We're living in that world, I dare to suggest. There's a lot of people who can't hear the music, and anyone who dares to dance. Crazy. Okay, the third quality, third magic key. I see someone may have come close to it. I don't think the word was used. Prayer. Prayer, the third magic key. And I could go off many tangents, but here's, okay. Kanamanach no movil. Kanamanach no mochi. Kanamanach no hut han. Alla mira agus chira. Alla grenia agus gira. Alla nan real achen alin. I speak this prayer from my lips. I speak this prayer from my heart. I speak this prayer to thee thyself. Wild Lord of the land and sea, wild Lord of the sun and moon, wild Lord of the beautiful stars, Kanam anach no movil, Kanam anach no mochi, Kanam anach no hutam, Alla mira agus chira, Alla grenia agus gela, Alla nanriel achen alin. That's another one from the West. That's another Gaelic from the Western Isles. I don't know about you. It's possible for me to glean and gain a sense of prayer without understanding what the words necessarily mean. The quality of prayer is imbued through something else. Here's another one, and then I'll just Here's another one that some of you will know, and some of you might know more than you realise. O cosmic birther of all radiance and vibration, soften the ground of my being and carve out a space within where your presence can abide. Fill us with your creativity, that we may be empowered to bear the fruit of your mission. Let each of our actions bear fruit according to our heart's desire. Endow us with the wisdom to produce and share that which each being needs in order to grow and flourish. Untie the tangled threads of destiny which bind us, as we release others from the entanglement of past mistakes. Let us not be distracted by that which would divert us from our true purpose, but rather illuminate the opportunities of the present moment. For you are the ground and the fruitful vision, the birth power and the fulfillment, as all is gathered in and made whole once more. Amen. And if they taught me that at school, I might have listened. But they taught me the Lord's Prayer as interpreted from Aramaic to Greek to Hebrew to Latin to English, and it lost all its original vivacity, vitality and meaning. Because that, as I've recited, speaks to me at some other level. Whereas the Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, which is its, doesn't quite do it. At least for me, it may for some of you, great. But that was an interpretation from the original Aramaic in which it was written. Not literally word for word, but the sense of it. Whoever translated it somewhere just didn't get it. Prayer. Prayer again is related, yes. I'm thinking as I speak, I mean, it's a bit like casting a spell. It's praying, it's offering. The words I speak create the home I live in. The words I speak create the home I live in. That's Hafiz again. But how true and how important it is to consider. That's why I don't like swearing, even though I'm not always good at it, at sticking to that. But there's something about the words I speak do create the home I live in. Or as I prefer, well, as I also say, the song I sing creates the river I swim in. The river being life. How did I get there? Yeah, and poetry is prayer as well. Poetry and prayer, prayer poems. We are stars wrapped in skin. The light you are seeking has always been within. We are stars wrapped in skin. The light you are seeking has always been within. That's Rumi, that one, but how true. We know all this, don't we? It resonates, we know it, but one, we're not taught it necessarily, and secondly, we forget it. I do. I forget it too. Always remember, you're smarter than you seem, braver than you believe, stronger than you think, and at least twice as beautiful as you ever imagined. Yesterday, I was clever, so I was trying to change the world. Today, I'm wise, and I'm trying to change myself. That's ancient wisdom. That's hundreds of years old. I think, yeah, Hafiz again? Or Rumi, actually. That's Rumi. Isn't it fascinating and fantastic how that truth and that can it's as fresh today as well as the day it was written, and as wise and as illuminating. Always remember. Where are we up to? Is this 4? I haven't numbered them. The 4th one. Actually, the interesting thing is, right when I spoke the intention and as part of setting us up, I referred to every one of the 7 and have been integrating them into the process we're sharing. This one is ritual. Number 4 is ritual as a magic key to life. Okay, we've got a ritual of getting up in the morning, maybe cleaning our teeth, or whatever we do, but ritual, conscious ritual, and community ritual in particular, has an amazing capacity to transform and to enliven and to heal and to celebrate and to bond communities. Here's something that came from here, so I don't know where I got it originally. Ceremony and ritual have been part of people's lives since the beginning, with the potential to summon potent powers and mighty winds of change. They can help us move from restriction into expansive greatness. Those are strong words, aren't they, for ritual? But it's true. They can help us move from restriction into expansive greatness. That's individually, as a community, and as a society. We lack rituals of true meaning. Watching strictly doesn't quite cut it at the end of the day, even if you do it together. And I know there's a place for that. I'm being slightly flippant. Would you believe? Number 5. These are all coinciding directly with this guy in South Africa. I mean, I'm still blown away with that. From not just him, it's tradition. Way, way back. These were the things, the 5 magic keys to their life and ours. Number 5, story. Story. Makes sense. Sitting around a fire. How many thousands of years did we sit around a fire? I've shared fires with many of you, sitting around with the young men as well up in the woods at Elderhood, sitting around a fire telling stories, and many other places. How beautiful it is to share story, how magical, when you hear a story.
Is the South African a Zulu?
No. I don't believe so, but it could be. I don't know, is the truth.
Thank you.
Yeah. 2 brief stories, just to illustrate the power of story. So one, when I was, way back, when I was still sane, I used to keep bees. 1 or 2 of you in the audience will remember that. I used to keep bees, and for 13 years, and it was a very potent and powerful time in my life. But there was, when we were buzzing together with humming, reminded me actually, there was an old cadre of old beekeepers. You know, there's certain energy amongst them. Anyway, there was this old guy, a bit like the old wizard on the far side of the island when I think about it. And he was a real experienced beekeeper, and he said, this is up at Lydiat Park, I think it was, way back. way back. He said, of course, when a bee stings you, everyone thinks it dies because it leaves its sting. The bee leaves its sting. Our skin is thick, and it leaves the sting and it flies off and leaves its guts in us. This is what generally happens. Or we kill it. So the bees always die, except, he said, watch, it doesn't have to die. Watch what happens. He got the bee to sting him in the end of his thumb. I can see it now because it made such an impact on me. He got the bee to sting him. And he said, watch. And you could see the toxin being pumped into his thumb, and he was going, oh, you know, you could feel it. So normally we would kill it, or the bee would fly off and wrench its guts out. The bee walked around, did a spiral, and flew off. And where I was in my life at that time, it was the perfect metaphor for sticking with the process. It was, we all know it can be very painful life, and just something about sticking with it, staying with. It's a story, it's just a story, but stories have, with a bit of luck, they have meaning and resonance. Second story, very recent. Someone, a young lass who sings in our group, or has done, not recently because she was away. South African, as it happens, a South African girl. She came to Britain, came to England about, well, she came here when she was a young girl, and she left the love of her life, which was a cat. She left this cat. They were really, really close, and the cat pined and looked for her for a couple of days when she left and couldn't find her, and the cat disappeared. No one saw it again. No sign of it. You'll guess what's going to happen in a minute, but she was here for 16 years and went back 6 months ago. Within a day of her returning, the cat appeared. I mean, it's a story of redemption for me, and hope and glory. I mean, 16 years and no one in the village or in the community or in the whole area saw the cat. Within a day of her being back, the cat was there. I just think that's a lovely story. Beautiful story. Right, that's the 5. And before I go on to the other 2, does anyone need a quick, if you want to go to the loo, anyone? I haven't got a clue where we are with time, but there's a little bit to go. On? Yeah, I can't see it, Joseph. 8:15. Okay, we're all right. Thank you. Yeah, feel free to go to the loo or get a drink if you need one. I need a drink. Bear with me. Ah. Okay.
No, that's sorry.
Humble yourself in the arms of the wild. You've got to lay down low and humble yourself in the arms of the wild. You've got to ask her what she knows, and we will lift each other up. Higher and higher, we will lift each other up. Humble yourself in the arms of the wild. You've got to lay down low and humble yourself in the arms of the wild. You've got to ask her what she knows, and we will lift each other up. Higher and higher, we will lift each other up. Humble yourself in the arms of the wild. You've got to lay down low and humble yourself in the arms of the wild. You've got to ask her what she knows, and we will lift each other up. Higher and higher, we will lift each other up. Humble yourself in the arms of the wild. You've got to lay down low and humble That's the song I meant to sing earlier after. Yeah, you see why. Between the hammers, the heart survives, just as the tongue between the teeth, which is still able to sing praise. Between the hammers, the heart endures, survives, just as the tongue between the teeth still is able to sing praise. There's paradox in there too. That's a Rainer Maria Rilke poem that comes from. What was it you said when in the break? There's a nice little poem.
Venerable Bede said, he who sings prays twice.
He who sings prays twice, said the Venerable Bede. Thank you, Sue. Indeed. Right. So we get to... So that was the 5 that were in common with the South African wisdom tradition. So these 2, there's 2 more in my pantheon, if you like, or in my little pack. This one, number 6, is unknowing, not knowing. Not knowing. The healthy and necessary, I think, quality and magic key of not knowing. I'm a breath unfolding. I arise, I'm done. Wise breath of the deep unknowing. Wise breath for whatever may come. I'm a breath unfolding. I arise, I'm done. Wise breath of the deep unknowing. Wise breath for whatever may come once more. I'm a breath unfolding. I arise, I'm done. Wise breath of the deep unknowing. Wise breath for whatever may come. I'll put this in. So yeah, we have many deaths and rebirths to transit if we are to lead a meaningful life. We have many deaths and rebirths to transit if we are to lead meaningful lives. And we certainly don't know when that's going to crop up in a life. But I've put it in there because I guess life and death, the unknowing. The unknowing. I don't know if I'm going to walk out here and a lorry kicks me out. You know, there's this whole sense that life's a gift and can rapidly expire. But it's the sense of unknowing begets a sense of openness and acceptance to life, I think. I'm talking in the moment. I haven't sort of thought that. Yeah, that's what's coming up. The sense of unknowing is liberating somehow, and it allows for all possibilities, but it also allows for the emergent truth of the moment somehow. Just because I believe in something doesn't mean it's true. It's worth remembering. Just because I can believe it passionately, but it doesn't mean it's true. I allow, I surrender, I feel so grateful to receive. I allow, I surrender, I feel so grateful to receive. I allow, I surrender, I feel so grateful to receive. I allow, I surrender, I feel so grateful to receive. I allow, I surrender, I feel so grateful to receive. deserves one of these. Information is not knowledge. Knowledge is not wisdom. Wisdom is not knowing. I wrote those as I was preparing for this, but there's truth in there somewhere. Information is not knowledge. Knowledge is not wisdom. Wisdom is not knowing. We're on to the last one. Number 7. Probably won't surprise you given what we've been sharing. Silence. Silence. The power and the necessity of silence, and the power to the transformative and healing power of silence, but also the mystery and the magic of it. So again, I turn to ancient wisdom. From how far back's this? Over 2,500 years. 600 BC, I think, Lao Tzu, somewhere there. Long enough ago. Allow the heart to empty itself of all turmoil. Retrieve the tranquility of your inner spirit, which is your source. Although all forms are dynamic, and we all grow and transform, each of us is compelled to return to our root. Our root is quietude, stillness, and silence. To fully return to our root is to be enlightened. I put fully aware, but they put to fully return to our root. They translated it as to be enlightened. I'm not always comfortable overly with that word, fully aware. There's some truth in the beauty of silence. I hear the silence calling me, so softly calling me to where I have always been. I hear the silence calling me, so softly calling me to where I have always been. I surrender to the mystery, I awaken to the beauty. I am burning and burning in your grace. I am burning and burning in your grace. I am burning and burning, I am burning and burning, I am burning and burning in your grace. I hear the silence calling me, so softly calling me to where I have always been. I hear the silence calling me, so softly calling me to where I have always been. I surrender to the mystery, I awaken to the beauty. I am burning and burning in your grace. I am burning and burning in your grace. I am burning and burning, I am burning and burning, I am burning and burning in your grace. Once more and then we'll have some silence together. I hear the silence calling me, so softly calling me to where I have always been. I hear the silence calling me, so softly calling me to where I have always been. I surrender to the mystery, I awaken to the beauty. I am burning and burning in your grace. I am burning in your grace. I am burning and burning, I am burning and burning, I am burning and burning in your grace. There's other stuff on silence, but simplicity, silence. I'll leave it at that. So that's the 7. So I'm going to move towards bringing it together, bringing that all together. May I develop complete acceptance. May I develop complete acceptance and openness to all situations and emotions and to all people. May I experience everything nakedly, completely, without mental reservations or blockages. May I never withdraw from life or centralize unto myself. May my heart be laid bare and open to the fire of all that is. That was gifted to me in 2015 on a camp by dear friend James Gillespie, and he got it from, it was written I think by Reggie Ray anyway. I'm going to read it once more because it's powerful stuff. May I develop complete acceptance and openness to all situations and emotions and to all people. May I experience everything nakedly, completely, without mental reservations or blockages. May I never withdraw from life or centralize unto myself. May my heart be laid bare and open to the fire of all that is. I said the staff was going to come back in. And I owe this analogy to Mac McCartney. Some of you know Mac McCartney. But in an eldership gathering, and I really resonate with this, I think that an elder's role to some extent is to hold the centre, hold the staff. When all around is pulling and swirling and the winds are blowing and the wars are raging and everything's pulling this centre, left, right, hither and thither, to keep the elders or somebody in the community has to sort of at least hold the centre ground, or try to. I think there's something in that. It doesn't mean we don't get pulled, and it certainly doesn't mean we don't honour all of that, all those different aspects, but I'm just speculating in the moment. I think our youngsters need to know there's someone there holding and prepared to step up and hold that space. Just a thought. It doesn't mean it's right, but just a thought. Climb the steep path. Climb the steep path. Stoop to the wind. Navigate the mists towards the virtue of your being. Climb the steep path. Stoop to the wind. Navigate the mist towards the virtue of your being. There's an old friend, Howard Campbell, wrote that. He's dead now, but he was just a poet just a poet. Hey. Yeah, lovely man. So drawing this, yeah, there's a couple of things. Yeah, I wondered about including this. I'm going to offer this because it kind of, it's a song, it's a story, it's a dance, it's a prayer, it's a ritual. I'm only realising that as I say now. It's a song I wrote last summer on Dartmoor, a group called Wild Song. We slept outside. Well, I did. Some of us did, by the Dart. And the inspiration for writing songs, we were all writing songs, and there was an invitation in the midst of all this. One of the exercises was to try and write a song. If the divine was to speak to you now at this point in life, what would be the message? What would they say? It's an interesting invitation. But this is what came up for me. Because as I looked back on my life, and this is the thing, isn't it? As older people, we have experience. That's the one thing. But getting older doesn't bring an eldership or wisdom necessarily, but it does bring more experience. Been through more life events. I look back on the dark years, as I could call them, the sort of 7.25. I mean, this is my story, but 7.25 years in the depths of despair and desolation. In my story, in my experience, and at that time, in the heart of that, not for all of it, in the heart of that time, I felt completely abandoned, completely lost, completely. Well, I begged to die in that time. I mean, it seems strange for me to say it now, but it's true. In that time, I begged to die. But when I looked back, and I felt completely abandoned. It wasn't true, but it was my truth, if you follow. I was still loved by many people, but I didn't feel it. I looked back and I could see that wasn't how it appears to me now. And this is the song that came. It's a love song, but you'll see it relates to that. And there's a chorus, which you're invited to join in on. It's a simple chorus, you'll get the hang of it. So in the moment, it's a love song to all of you, but in the fuller sense, it's a love song to the world. I know you, and I love you, and now you know it too. I've been right at your shoulder when troubles swirled and blew. I've been one with your heartbeat, and now you're one with mine. Though days seem cold and desperate, I love you all the time. I love you all the time. I love you all the time. I love you, yes, I love you, yes, I love you all the time. I love you all the time. I love you all the time. I love you, yes, I love you, yes, I love you all the time. I've been there and I'll be there. Whatever comes to pass, I'll hold you tight as bowstring and gentle as the grass. I'll bless you without speaking, hold you without hands, see you without looking. I know you'll understand, for I don't need the glamour, I don't need the name. What sings within my heartstrings is the product of the pain. Yes, I don't need the glamour, I don't need the name. What sings within my heartstrings is the product of the pain. And though this song sounds simple, touches deep within, I know that to be whole again, I'll gamble all up in, of fully being human, of being fully broke, of plunging to the darkest depths to reimagine hope. I love you all the time, I love you all the time. I love you, yes, I love you, yes. I love you all the time, I love you all the time. I love you all the time. I love you, yes, I love you, yes, I love you all the time. I love you when you're smiling. I love you when you're sad. I love you when you're half asleep. I love you when you're mad. I love you when you're sorted. I love you when you're lost. I love you when you're sailing high. I'll love at any cost. So when you're bruised and battered, or lost your way in time, know that though your heart gets broken, that's the reason it's sublime. I love you all the time. I love you all the time. I love you, yes, I love you, yes, I love you all the time. I love you all the time. I love you all the time. I love you, yes, I love you. Yes, I love you all the time. I know you, and I love you, and now you know it too. I've been right at your shoulder when trouble swirled and blew. I've been one with your heartbeat, and now you're one with mine, though days seem cold and desperate. I love you all the time. I love you all the time. I love you all the time. I love you, yes, I love you, yes. I love you all the time. I love you all the time. I love you all the time. I love you, yes, I love you, yes. I love you all the time. I love you all the time. I love you all the time. I love you, yes, I love you, yes. I love you all the time. It's probably a good place to finish. Hopefully some of those stones skipping across the water landed. And otherwise it just poses you a few questions or thoughts to take away. I could have given a much shorter lecture by just repeating or reciting a Tibetan proverb. Here's it encompasses all the keys to life. It says that the key to a healthy and fulfilled life: eat half, walk double, love treble, and love without measure. Oh, I've got that wrong. Eat half, walk double, laugh treble, and love without measure. Thank you.